Did you miss any of the Overwatch League matches for Friday Week 3? Don't worry, we got you covered. The Haus Overwatch League recap is coming your way every day after all the matches are over to catch you up. Our first match of the day was by far the most anticipated. It was the 5-0 Seoul Dynasty against the 4-1 New York Excelsior. Two of the league's best teams faced off in a fight to claim the top of the charts. We started off on Eichenwald, where both teams only played once prior. New York held the first point for a while, but Fleta eventually got some great positioning and opened up the point for Seoul. Things were looking solid for the Dynasty, but their push stopped before the second point, as Excelsior's team play was just too damn tight. As New York took to offense, we saw a similar story, as they stormed through the first 2 points and went up 1-0. Now if you're looking for an exciting map, Horizon Lunar Colony would be the one to watch. As Seoul were on the attack, Horizon started off fairly standard. A solid push by Dynasty slowly chipped away at Excel's defense, and they took both points. However, once New York brought out the Slambulance combo of Lucio, Moira, and 4 tanks, Seoul collapsed under the pressure and left 5 minutes and 30 seconds in the time bank. In a complete reversal, Seoul dominated Excel in the second round, capturing both points narrowly. On their second attack, Excelsior ran the same composition, this time with Sabiobi's Widowmaker. Fleta's Junkrat slowed them down a bit, but New York eventually took the second point. With the Excelsior barely holding the second point away from Seoul's grip, the Dynasty came back strong and pulled off a clutch full hold on point A to win them the map, tying up the series 1-1. Our third map, Oasis, took us away from the insanity of Horizon. This map gave us more patient and calculated team play from both sides. Multiple back and forth team fights in the garden ended in Excelsior taking the point. For the second point in the University, Excelsior unfortunately didn't get to the point in time to contest it, meaning the series was tied up 1-1 as we headed into the city center. Seoul made a couple of good plays, but it was New York that came out on top and went up 2-1 in the series. Both teams have struggled on the fourth map, but New York was well prepared and stopped Seoul from getting the second point. The Seoul Dynasty seemed to have practiced too. With some stellar positioning and team fights, they keep New York from getting even a single point and take the series to a Game 5. Back on control with Lijiang Tower, the night market opened up with the Dynasty looking like they would carry their momentum forward. However, New York pulled out a last-second attack and wiped Seoul for a 1-0 lead. The second point of the shrine was a fine display of aggressive team fighting and zoning by New York, as they dismantled the Seoul Dynasty and took the series 3-2. GG. Our second match of the day is between the 05 Shanghai Dragons and the 3-2 Philadelphia Fusion. Mind you, the Fusion also just yesterday took down New York Excelsior. Coming into Eichenwald, it was entirely possible that this was the upset of the day, seeing as how the Fusion could have been preparing mostly for New York this week. Unfortunately for the Dragons, this was not the case, as Philly held back everything Shanghai threw at them. With an easy win set up for them, Philadelphia cruised through the first point and go up 1-0. Heading into Horizon Lunar Colony, Philadelphia were looking to continue their dominance and go up 2-0. While the Dragons made things look scary by taking the second point, the Fusion's DPS were just too OP. Fusion made quick work of the second round and took the second map. As history has taught us, control maps are always the wild cards. This match was no different. Philadelphia took the garden with a couple of really well-coordinated pushes. But the city center was like watching the walking undead. Undead's McCree just couldn't miss. Some would have called the Dragons' performance on University a clown fiesta, but the Shanghai Dragons did their best Joker impression and won the map 2-1. The fourth map took the series to Junkertown. Having the momentum, Shanghai took some good steps to push the cart, but they started to have flashbacks as Philadelphia nearly pulled off a full hold on the first point. But wouldn't you know it, the Dragons barely took the first point and stormed through the second, getting within inches of the third point. Philadelphia Fusion took to the offense with the promise of an easy round, but barely fell short after an absolutely intense overtime. the Shanghai Dragons took this map and took the series to a Game 5. The crowd had a lot of energy going into the 10th game of the day, but fusion fuels the sun, and Philadelphia used Solar Beam as the Shanghai Dragons went down to 0-6. Needless to say, the fusion won the series 3-2. Our last match of the day featured the 0-4 Dallas Fuel going up against the 2-1 San Francisco Shock. Effect started the show off by running circles around the Shock on McCree. Coco eventually made some key plays on Orisa and won the fight to close out the map for Dallas. This match seemed to be the war of the carries, as Babyface Farah dominated the first point, giving the momentum to San Francisco. The momentum propelled them to a map finish with a time bank advantage. However, their momentum was cut short as Dallas was definitely not running on empty, and FX McCree destroyed the Shock yet again. The score stayed at 0-0. Now, for those of you who don't follow the latest format changes, a hybrid draw effectively gives us a best of 3. Heading into map 2, San Francisco seems to have Dallas figured out, until point A overtime. The Fuel seem to have no chance. However, at the 11th hour, they pull it out and storm through point B, finishing out their offense. Sleepy Sombra stole the show on offense as he danced around Dallas's defense. San Francisco fairly quickly took both points and tied up the map. Dallas Fuel grabbed a point on their second attack round, and FX Widowmaker seemed to be holding back the Shock. With the help of a massive 3-kill ultimate by Seagull on Junkrat, Dallas hold on and go up 1-0. The control map for this series was Ilios, and the opening point went to Dallas. However, the second point was insanely close due to both teams getting to 99%. With a strong showing from basically all members of the Fuel, Dallas closed out the map 2-0, giving them their first series win of the league.
They've broken the streak. They've got a win to their names.
Because of the tie, there was still one more map to play. Junkertown was our last map, and the Dallas Fuel hoped to increase their map score by carrying their momentum forward. With Custa busting out the Bastion, it looked like they had a solid strategy to do so. It wasn't easy, but eventually Dallas broke the gates. With renewed vigor, the Fuel carried through the streets and easily take the second and third point. San Francisco unfortunately just couldn't get anything done, and Dallas ended up taking the map 3-2. In reflection, it seems Dallas has doubled down on their namesake. With the 3-0 victory against the San Francisco Shock, the once named favorites of the West get their first win. Thank you for tuning into the Gamehouse Overwatch League recap. Be sure to keep an eye out for the rest of this week's recaps right here. You can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Those links are listed below. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. From our house to yours, keep it here at the Gamehouse for all of your sports and esports needs.